The Saints have a quarterback issue, and I think back to the aftermath of Derek Carr retiring. This was May 10 or thereabouts. Derek Carr, and I don't know why anyone was surprised or shocked by it. I guess it was shocking. I guess in hindsight it was shocking. We knew he needed shoulder surgery, and there was just a weird vibe between him and the Saints. So it felt like something was going to happen, and happen it did. And after Derek Carr exited the Saints quarterback room, and we knew that they had Tyler Shough as the second-round draft pick, the highest quarterback they've taken in the common draft, not supplemental, but in the regular draft since Archie Manning back in the early 70s. Kellen Moore said one of these three guys, Shough, Spencer Rattler, Jake Haener, will rise to the job during the preseason. Well, Chris, hasn't happened. There's no clear winner. And the Saints have to make their decision about who the starter is, and they said they're going to do that in the coming days.
Yeah, I'm actually a little surprised. I thought it would be maybe announced or they would just get it out of the way here. It feels like it's going to be Tyler Shough. I don't know. Maybe they're having a little bit of a moment here of, hey, do we really want to throw this guy out there week one? I don't know. It feels the way, like I've told you a million times, the way it's set up, the way he's played, the way they've split the reps, the fact that they put Spencer Rattler in there the other day versus the starters. I don't know if that was a good thing or a bad thing for him, right? There was like two parts of me. It's like, wait, did they put Spencer Rattler in there to play against the Denver starters so he could get used to playing starters? Or did they put him in there against the Denver starters because they knew, wow, that D's good. He's not going to look all that good. We don't want to do that to Tyler Shough. We'd like him to come in with the second team and feel good about what he's doing out there. And again, those are little things to me where I go with the latter there, where it just feels like they want to start Shough, but obviously he hasn't separated to a degree to where it can just be slam dunk. That's what we're going with here. But I'm a little surprised, honestly, that they still haven't made a hard decision here.
Let's hear a little from the guy who may not be making the decision on his own, but he has a pretty important say in who the starter is going to be. First-year coach Kellen Moore on his quarterback conundrum.
Yeah, we'll go through this process. We'll study the film Sunday. We'll have those discussions, and then at some point next week, we'll make that decision and communicate with certainly the players first and foremost, and we'll get it to everyone else as well. Well, certainly I think it's important that we collaborate and talk through this thing. That's an important aspect of this thing. Everyone's got their different perspectives and different exposures, and so that'll be really, really important. Ultimately, I know I have to make a decision, and it's a challenging one because these guys have put everything into this. They've been very, very close. We love this room. We want this room to be together, and we know good things are going to happen to all these guys as their journey goes on.
In other words, I was wrong when I said one of the guys was going to rise up and take the job. No, they're all rising, and we don't know which one the starter is going to be. Now, I think Jake Haener is clearly the least likely to be named the starter.
Right.
As of last week, the point that you had made was, well, Shough started the second preseason game. Rattler played a lot more of it. But you know what? In the final preseason game, that flipped. Rattler started, and Shough was out there for a lot more. So I really don't know. I feel like as of right now, and look, the one thing we're not privy to is what the locker room thinks. And that's going to be a factor in this. And maybe the locker room looks at it and says, we're fine with either guy. I don't know. But, veteran players want to win. Cam Jordan wants to win.
Yeah.
The other players, I don't care how long you've been there. You want to have your best chance to win football games. You're not there as a science experiment. You're there to win with the best players. And it could just be that where Shough is right now, and I guess you could call that a disappointment, Chris. If the guy that you put that high draft pick into 40th overall, if that guy's not ready to beat out Spencer Rattler, who was, I think, 1-5 last year, or 0-5, maybe 0-6. He did not have a good run last year, at least as far as wins are concerned. But if he's not beating out Spencer Rattler handily, is he where he needs to be?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying there. I think there could be a few, different factors, moving parts here that play into this situation a little bit, right? As far as it's still a rookie, and even though it feels like he's played better and outperformed Spencer Rattler, maybe again too they want to make sure he's totally ready, right? Maybe there's that aspect of just, hey, he's still a young kid. He's still learning football. Do we really want to throw him out there in week one? Do we feel like mentally he can handle it all and he won't be the old deer in the headlights, right? Which I think could be a thing with Tyler Shough. I think that was one of his knocks a little bit coming out in the draft, as people felt like in the game and pocket when it got physical a little bit, he had a little bit of the deer in the headlights factor to him. That was definitely something you could talk to people around the league as far as in the draft process. That was a concern of his. But maybe that's where they're not sure if he's ready for that yet. Maybe they just are, that's where you don't know for a rookie, the psyche and what they're seeing on a day-to-day basis to know, hey, wait, he's all over every detail. He could command the O-line and yell at the receiver and do all those little things right now like you need to do in week one. And maybe he's not there yet, right? It could be some of that stuff that could be holding him back and making them a little bit, just pumping the brakes on whether they want to throw him out into the fire there week one. So I don't look too deeply into it, but I do think he's outperformed Rattler. I do.
And you don't want to overwhelm the rookie quarterback because you can ruin him.
Right.
They don't talk about that much anymore. And I think part of it is there's a greater sensitivity to adjusting offenses to suit the skills and abilities of the rookie. And there is a sensitivity to not overwhelming him.
Definitely.
But I remember Steve Mariucci, who was the coach of the 49ers at the time, talking about Giovanni Carmazzi from Hofstra,
right,
who was one of the Brady Six, one of the quarterbacks taken before Tom Brady in the 2000 draft. Mariucci said that Carmazzi got ruined in the Hall of Fame game as a rookie against Brady's Patriots, that was enough to do something to overwhelm the Carmazzi system, and he could never recover from it. So I think there has to be some degree of care taken to not get to the point where a young quarterback is out there and he comes to the conclusion, man, I suck at this. Because it's hard to come back from that. Once you're just out there and it's like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I don't know why I'm here. I'm going to go become a goat farmer. I mean, which I think Carmazzi ultimately became. It was either goat or sheep. But I think you want to be sensitive to that because you're protecting your investment. You want the guy to become the guy. And if you push him too fast and too aggressively, he's never going to be good for anyone.
No, you want to build him up and build him up and build him up to where when he takes over, it's just like chest is out. I'm the man. I'm the leader of the team. Here we go. That's what ultimately you want if you're an NFL franchise and what you're trying to do with your quarterback situation. And again, we saw that with the Chiefs in Kansas City. That's kind of what they did behind the scenes with Mahomes. Or teams take the approach like you're talking about. We'll take it slow. We'll put training wheels on. We might sacrifice a little bit the overall greatness our team can be because we're going to call some plays that just make sense for our young quarterback. And we're not going to break him, and we're going to build him along. And we're going to do it that way, and hopefully it just continues to go in an upward trajectory. But, yeah, you do got to be careful there. You start off, you throw him out there. He's not ready. He's a little bit head on the swivel, looking through the corner of his eye, all that. He plays bad in 2 games, turns the ball over, gets hit a lot. Yeah, that can get to the point where for a rookie quarterback or a young quarterback, it's going to take a little time to build back the confidence. The game's going to move fast. He's not going to be sure what he's seeing. He's not going to have the confidence of pulling the trigger when something's open. He's going to second guess himself that way. So those are all the things I think you're alluding to there that, yeah, you got to be a little bit careful with a young quarterback and their psyche and where they're at. And that's why I think the Giants are like, hey, let's let Jackson Dart on the sidelines for the first few regular season games. Let him see it a little bit so he can go and go, whoa, that's a Dan Quinn regular season defense. Holy crap, what are they doing? Blah, blah, blah. So then he's not shocked by it on the football field, and he'll be ready to go when he does get that chance on the field. I think that's the approach of a lot of guys, at least with a lot of quarterbacks.
And the prevailing mindset for decades had been it's easier to go from older quarterback to the young guy than the other way around, because once you bench the young guy, you've ruined him. And
yeah, right.
We saw that with Bryce Young last year. And even though Bryce Young didn't earn the playing time, Andy Dalton was injured. When Bryce Young came back after he was sat for a while, he was better. Now, when that happened to Zach Wilson with the Jets. It didn't work, but the Jets is the Jets. And the Colts may be thinking that that'll happen with Anthony Richardson, although he was benched for a little while last year and he didn't win the job over Daniel Jones. But I think that is part of it too. If ideally, because look, the Saints aren't going to be good this year. If they are, fine. And I'm not going to say they have no chance to make the playoffs, although I was goaded last night into making a beard bet that if the Saints make the playoffs, I have to grow a beard.
Okay, I like that.
So now I've got two. I've got the Giants tattoo, the John Mara's face on my arm, not his arm on my face tattoo if they go 17-0. I'm very confident they're not going to go 17-0. I'm not like overwhelmingly confident the Saints won't make it to the playoffs because we just don't know. But the point is this. They're not expected to be good this year. So if you go with Rattler, there's going to be a natural point where you're going to go with Shough,
right,
just to shake things up.
Right. I exactly right. And I think, that we've had those talks too a little bit. Sometimes it's hey, we like Shough. We think he's better, but he might not be quite ready for prime time a little bit. We'd like him to sit there and just get a little bit more experience and see how it goes. And we're going to pick our time. And also within that, we have time to kind of get our team right, or at least them playing a little bit better to make the rookie look better, right? And I think that goes into this whole conversation too a lot of the times. Is the team good enough to help the rookie not get destroyed, right? That's the part of it. And I think that that certainly gets taken into an account here, and I certainly could see that logic. Right. I don't expect a lot from them. And maybe they're looking at it that way. Hey, Spencer's played. He's got a little experience. Let's throw him out there. We're not expecting to win the NFC South. Let's see where it goes early on. Right. And if it's just okay, we'll have the chance to put in Tyler Shough at any chance we really want whenever we deem necessary or think it's the right time. And maybe they do that. But I actually would be shocked right now, though. I feel like it's going to be Tyler Shough. We'll see where it goes. It's an interesting one, too.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.